Before we begin, if you enjoy stories that don't just pass time, but stay with you, stories that make you question what's right, what's wrong, and everything in between, then take a moment to subscribe to the channel, because this story is not easy to hear, and it's even harder to forget. My name is Amelia, and what I'm about to tell you is something I never thought I would say out loud, not because I don't remember it clearly, but because I remember it too well. Some moments in life don't announce themselves. They don't come with warnings or signs. They arrive quietly, like an ordinary day, and by the time you realize what's happening, it's already too late. That morning felt like one of those ordinary days. Peaceful, still, almost perfect. My husband, Greg, had left early just before sunrise. He was heading out on a weekend business trip to Los Angeles. It wasn't unusual. His work often took him away, and over time I had learned to accept it. I supported him. I always did, even when the house felt too quiet after he left. We lived in a small beachside house in California. It wasn't large, but it was beautiful in its own way. Wide windows that filled every room with sunlight, the constant sound of waves crashing against the shore, and a calmness that made everything feel steady. But that morning, the calm felt different. Maybe it was the silence. Or maybe it was something deeper. Something I couldn't name at the time. I decided to keep myself busy. I turned on a soft jazz playlist, the kind that plays gently in the background without asking for attention, and began cleaning the house, dusting shelves, opening windows, letting the ocean breeze move through the rooms. There's something comforting about cleaning. It gives you a sense of control, like you're putting things back into place, even when your thoughts aren't. I was wearing something simple, a loose white t-shirt and denim shorts. Nothing special, just comfortable. For a while, everything felt normal, until I felt it. That quiet, sudden awareness. The feeling that someone was behind me. I was standing on a small stool in the living room, reaching up to dust one of the higher shelves. I paused, just for a second. Then I turned around, and there he was. Ryan. Reguesson. He stood leaning against the doorway, arms relaxed, hair slightly messy like he had just woken up. But it wasn't his posture that caught my attention. It was his gaze. "Good morning, Ryan," I said, smiling lightly. "Morning," he replied. Simple. But his eyes lingered. Longer than usual. He walked into the room and sat down on the sofa. I turned back to what I was doing, trying not to overthink it. We started talking. Small things. His internship. His plans. Casual conversation. But something felt different. The room felt quieter. Heavier. Like something unspoken had entered the space between us. Then, it happened. I reached up to adjust a picture frame. But the stool beneath me shifted. My balance slipped. The world tilted. "Amelia." Before I could fall, arms wrapped around me. Firm. Steady. Immediate. "Ryan." He caught me just in time. And suddenly, everything stopped. I could feel his hands around my waist. Strong but careful. Like he was afraid of holding too tightly. We were close. Closer than we had ever been before. Our eyes met. And in that moment, something changed. It wasn't loud. It wasn't obvious. But it was real. I let out a small laugh, trying to ease the tension. "Good thing you were here. I could have fallen." But Ryan didn't respond right away. He just looked at me, like he was trying to understand something. Or maybe say something he couldn't. I stepped out of his hold, adjusting my shirt, trying to regain control of the moment. But the moment didn't leave. We moved to the sofa. Sat down. Not too close. But not far either. The sunlight streamed through the windows. The sound of waves filled the silence. But none of it felt the same anymore. "Do you have any plans for the weekend?" I asked, trying to sound normal. "Not really," he said. "I'll probably just stay home." I nodded. Silence followed. But it wasn't empty. "I've always liked mornings like this," I said softly. Peaceful, unhurried. Ryan looked at me. "Yeah," he said quietly. "Especially when you're not alone." Something in his voice made my heart skip. I should have changed the subject. I should have stood up. Walked away. But I didn't. Instead, I reached out. Just slightly. My fingers brushing his arm. A small touch. Barely anything. But enough. He placed his hand over mine. Slowly. Gently. And in that moment, we both knew. Ryan, I whispered. But he didn't pull away. He moved closer. And I didn't stop him. Everything outside that moment disappeared. The house. The ocean. Time itself. He leaned in. There was still time to step back. Still time to stop. But I didn't. And neither did he. Our lips met. Soft. Slow. Uncertain at first. Then deeper. My heart pounded. My thoughts screamed that this was wrong. But something stronger kept me there. Something I couldn't explain. Amelia, he whispered. The way he said my name made everything feel unreal. For a moment, nothing else existed. Until a sound. The front door. Opening. Amelia, I'm home. Greg. Everything shattered. Ryan pulled back instantly. I stepped away, my heart racing, my hands trembling. The moment we had just shared collapsed into silence. Greg walked in, smiling, completely unaware. And in that instant, I realized something terrifying. Some lines, once crossed, can never be erased. Greg hugged me warmly. I missed you, he said. I forced a smile. I missed you too. But my voice didn't feel like mine. I glanced at Ryan. He stood a few feet away, silent, tense. Our eyes met. Just for a second. And in that second, everything we couldn't say was understood. The days that followed were heavy. Silent. Careful. We avoided each other when we could. Spoke normally when we had to. But the moment never left. It stayed in every glance. Every silence. Every heartbeat that felt just a little too loud. One evening when Greg was out, I found Ryan in the backyard. We have to stop, I said quietly. He nodded. But his eyes said something else. I know, he said. But it's not that simple. It wasn't. Because some moments don't just pass. They stay. They change you. But I knew one thing. If we didn't end it, everything would fall apart. And some things, once broken, can never be fixed. So I made a choice. Not the easiest one, but the right one. And sometimes, that's the hardest part of all. Because doing the right thing doesn't erase what already happened. It just means you have to live with it.